Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So I like to start at the beginning. I always start with my guests. We start at the very beginning of your journey. Why are we here? How do we get into this? What sparked your love of magic and a moment that started this all for you?
So, I have one pinpointed moment,
Okay.
which is great. So, my dad does magic and he always did magic when I was growing up. And he was a doctor. We're Jews, but he would do he would always do magic for my friends and for strangers and stuff. And I was never that interested in. I mean, I would watch him, but I wasn't like I didn't want to do it. And he kind of tried to get my
Right.
brother into it and my brother didn't really care. And then we were at this wedding because my brother's like a normal person, like he would never. But then we were at a wedding and we were in El Salvador for this wedding. It was like,
Wow.
yeah, and it was a billion degrees and everybody was kind of miserable and a little too drunk and really hot. And the humidity is like 100% there, like you're just swimming. And my dad did started doing magic for people and like everybody was gathered around him, people were like losing their minds, and I was just like, I want in on that.
Right. Whatever that
Like,
is.
I know, I was like, whoa, like I had never he'd always done it for like my friends and a few people, but I was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
all these people are like watching you and like freaking
Hmm.
out and having an amazing time. So I was like, teach me a trick. So he taught me a self-working card trick. And I just like turned around and did it immediately. I'm sure
Wow.
very badly, but people were hyped up and drunk, so they reacted to
Yeah.
it. And I was like, whoa. Like I was like, that's going
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then that was sort of it. And then my dad had like big collections of DVDs and books and stuff. And he taught me stuff and we would stay up late at night and it's funny, we didn't really have anything like in common until then.
Hmm.
Him and
Interesting.
my brother would like go see action movies and do stuff like that together, but it was like I feel like that like really bonded us,
Hmm.
which made it extra special sort of.
Yeah.
So that was like, I mean, that was how I got my start.
Hmm.
And then from there I did a lot of magic in high school. I mean, I really had a lot of fun doing that, but it was always sort of secondary to fashion design, which is what I always
Hmm.
wanted to do. So it didn't really become my whole life until a few years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did what was that transition like for you?
So I had moved to New York like 12 years ago or something for college, whenever you whatever age you go to college. And I went to FIT and I loved it. Like 10 out of 10, amazing time. I loved it and I worked as a designer for a bunch of years. And that whole time, like I was doing magic on the side. Like I was hanging out with magicians and like doing a few like shitty gigs here and there and like doing some shows, but like nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like again, it was always on the side. Like I had this other career.
Hmm.
And then I got brought onto Speakeasy 19 and that was getting bigger and bigger and fashion was still, a full-time job. And it was just like I was burning the candle from
Yeah.
every angle.
Yeah.
And it just became a bit too much. And I was really reluctant to quit fashion because it was like the thing I wanted to do my whole life. Like
Yeah.
I was just going to leave it. Like I was just going to bounce. It felt very
Right.
uncomfortable to me. And also, I had never considered myself someone who would not have a stable job, like
Right.
who would not have a, 401.
Right.
I always
Right.
That's what I always thought I was going to be. And the truth is, fashion is not a great industry to be in long term. A lot of people don't stay long term. There's not a lot of upward mobility. It's not really a super creative job once you're actually in it. It's like corporate bullshit, but it's also shitty in
Yeah.
other ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I left, so I ended up leaving my company on really good terms. I actually ended up going back and doing a little bit of freelancing for them here and there, which sort of softened the blow for me, made me feel still like connected to it. And yeah, I mean, I was able to sort of like pivot all of my creative energy into magic, which was really great. I mean, it was the best decision I ever made, but
Yeah.
definitely one of the scariest. I mean,
What was that moment for you where you're doing fashion and then you've been brought on to Speakeasy and you go, this is different. This is going to be part of my career in magic and it's going to grow. And was there a moment like that for you at all or no?
I think just Speakeasy was adding days to the. Have to get my fucking doorbell. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Speakeasy was adding days to the week. And what I was basically doing was waking up at 8, going and doing my fashion job all day, which was not 0% stressful. And I always had a giant tote bag with me with like performing clothes and makeup and stuff. And then I would like do my makeup in a cab and go to a gig after and work until, sometimes midnight, sometimes 1, and then go home and then do it again. I was never home. My apartment was a mess. Like and what I realized was that I wasn't couple things. One, I didn't have the time to get better at magic.
Okay.
I didn't have the time to work on new stuff because my day was full front to back. Like there was no give there. Like I didn't have time to work on anything. I didn't have time to write. I didn't have time to learn new stuff. And then also I was really exhausted and burnt out. And you're not as good of a performer when you're burnt out. Like I
100%.
realized I was doing my sets and I could feel myself like desperately pulling myself out of like exhaustion. And you're just not as present. And I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like every performer you look at, let's use singers and rock stars and that whole kind of vision of wanting to be a star, and then you go down that path and then you're performing, and then behind closed doors you're sitting there like, I'm fucking beat, like this is not. And yeah, I know people who are in different industries that they feel that way. And it's, for me it's interesting because I struggle with, should this turn into a therapy session? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God. Are you kidding? I have my therapy session later today, so you can have yours right now.
And I had mine yesterday, so.
Okay. Well, back to back is not a bad idea.
Right. So for me, I struggle with, as a performer, enjoying, not so much as an ego way, but enjoying being in a social environment, to when I go home, or even just socially aside from performing, going home and then getting ready to like decompress from the day, I struggle with the quietness.
Yeah, dude. I have the TV on all day, every day.
Yeah.
Or a podcast, or what are you gonna sit with your own thoughts?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. 100%. It's this strange thing.
It's a weird drop off too, because the adrenaline also dips. Like I remember I used to have really bad adrenaline dips after performing. Yeah, I would like be in the car on the way home and be like, God.
Really?
Interesting. Like a gut punch. It's a weird,
Yeah. And yeah, so it's, this is me naturally, but when I go out a little bit, my persona kind of changes a little bit. And yeah, when I'm doing magic, I'm not a character, but I'm amplified for sure.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird thing to kind of, decompress from something, and then you sit there and you're like, what is going on? Like, what's happening here?
I think it's also in magic specifically, like, because you are demonstrating a skill and doing something that the audience doesn't know how you did it.
Right.
even the worst magicians hear things like, oh my God, you're the best magician I've ever seen. Or, holy crap, how did you do that? You're amazing. You're a wizard. You're
Right.
incredible.
Right.
And then you go, like, you feel like a superhero in those moments. And then you're going home and you're just a person.
Right.
Who's doing your laundry and your dishes and stuff, you know? And I think that creates this like overinflated feeling when you're like, wow, like I am a god.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who well, you're on a different level, but I think as that sort of grows more, I think people deal with it in their own ways, and some of them not the best. Like Robin Williams, for instance, did not deal well with the quiet.
Yeah,
And
he's dead.
yeah,
He's
well,
in the
yeah.
most quiet now. He's in the forever quiet.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories from people who have encountered him, and just seeing him backstage from being out there and doing his and doing everything, and then just sitting there and just being in the still, he really had a problem with it because he couldn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's
kudos to us for dealing with it the right way with therapy.
yeah.
Just kidding.
And plenty
Whoops.
of
Should I
medication.
cut that? I don't know.
No, why? Very pro therapy. I know lots of performers who should go to therapy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck on that mission of trying to get them to go do it.
If I ever get like extremely rich and famous, I will use that money to get BetterHelp gift cards for every magician that I know. Just, here you go, bud.
Mid conversation, just hand it to them. You know what?
Yeah, just be like,
you need this.
this is for you. This covers your first 4 sessions.
First 4 sessions. That's great.
Yeah, I'm very generous.
Yeah. I wish I had that.
And if I'm ever mega rich, I'll be extra generous with my therapy payments.
Oh, that's great. Man, I knew I was going to laugh, but these are good laughs. You performed at different venues. So you performed at the Magic Castle. You performed at Chicago Magic Lounge. You're obviously a regular at Speakeasy. Do those spaces change your approach to your performances?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, places like the lounge and the castle, you're doing your show. Like people are coming into the room to see you. You're like, it's almost more pressure in a way than Speakeasy, where this world has been created, you're in it, but and it's a different kind of pressure, which we can talk about. But like at the castle, people are lining up to watch you for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or whatever, 18 minutes or something. And they've gotten dressed up and they've, found someone to get them in, and they've taken photos and the step and repeat, and they've gotten a $20 cocktail, and they've waited online, and you're the whole show. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? There's 100%. You're bringing it. So that's very different as far as like tone setting and energy and all that stuff. And additionally, there's different rules at different venues about content, about swearing, that kind of thing. So adjustments have to be made there. At Speakeasy, there's not really any rules. But
in a basement, dimly lit, I don't think there's rules.
We're pretty unleashed there, so I definitely have to calibrate. I'm like, what do you mean I can't say fuck? I'm like, but I could say it like sometimes, right? And they're like, no, you can't. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? Arrest me?
It's like 25% of my show. Fuck.
I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think it's funny. Someone told me, they were like, you can't be as mean when you go to the castle, like your act. And I was like, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Because I have my thoughts about the castle and a lot lately.
Yeah. I've only done it once.
Yeah. Do you feel like being in a position that you're kind of in this world, that kind of challenging that a little bit doesn't obviously, I don't know if you care about that or not, but you're going to authentically be you when you're performing.
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth is, obviously, if they say you really can't say fuck or whatever, I'll
Right.
not do that.
Right, right.
But I don't sand down. And I'm a very big believer in the idea that you're not going to be everyone's favorite, and you
Hmm.
shouldn't be, because if you are, you're vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
You should be a lot of, I mean, you should want your audience to
Yeah. a hundred
predominantly
percent.
be enjoying you. I'm not saying,
Yeah.
screw people who don't like you, but if it's too edgy for a couple folks, then I'm not for them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think if you try to sand down and sand down and sand down, then where's your act? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, then you're not memorable.
Yeah.
So, I do sort of adjust and calibrate. And by the way, I had a great time at the castle. I did me. I didn't, aside
Yeah.
from cutting down on some swearing, I wasn't, I didn't sand myself down. I had a good time. I think it was well received, from at least from what I heard. And I really enjoyed it. And I also, again, right, it's like, what,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come and be a nice lady. That's
Right.
not I'm not gonna do
Right.
that for you. Like, that's not,
Yeah.
then don't book me, is sort of my thought. When I
Yeah.
hear people say, "Oh, I want to book this person, but we gotta tell them to tone this down." And I'm like, don't book that person.
Yeah.
Book someone else. Like, if that
Yeah.
it's not good for anybody.
Yeah. I think that's really important as like from a performer standpoint, that understanding where your magic belongs, or even if you're doing stand-up comedy, where that belongs, because
Yeah,
there are different pockets of both industries that Amazing Jonathan is not going to go and do a set at, wherever that's really uptight and really,
it's not. And I
yeah.
think that's important to know where you belong, and not everyone does everything,
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
and that's okay.
Do you feel like being a regular at Speakeasy Magic has allowed you to kind of not mold to Speakeasy Magic, but curate your magic differently to present it to the audiences there? Or
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the magic that I do there is pretty specific to that room. Not exclusively. Like, I
mm-hmm.
can do some of that, and
Yeah.
also my set has changed a lot. Every trick is different from when I
Mm-hmm.
started there, which we can get into, but I think it definitely molds you to that room a bit. And I've totally had moments where I've been at a private gig and been like, that joke is not funny outside of Speakeasy, or you know what I mean? Or I'm just like, and also you forget, like, at Speakeasy, we're so spoiled.
Yeah.
Everyone is there to see magic.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone paid a lot of money for their ticket. The company, this company, Immersive, is amazing at creating an immersive experience. They've
Right.
done so much work to create an experience,
Right.
from the lighting, from the sound, from the space, from the drink, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has been thought of. So these people are like, let's go. Like, they
Yeah.
are here for it.
Yeah.
And when you go to a corporate event, you're like a professional interrupter. You're going up to people like, "Oh, hi." And they're like, and so it's all like a weird calibration there. So
Yeah.
Speakeasy really lets us, but it lets us really dig into our characters and our personas, and what tricks we're deciding on are very specific
Right.
for that room. And it's, I think, I don't know that anybody's set is the same as when they started. I think that's
Yeah.
very cool that we've, there's a challenge there, especially because, and I'm sure you've heard Matt and Alex talk about this on the show, that there can't be overlap of tricks.
Right.
And it's not just the same tricks, but it's like similar tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
a coin trick to an audience is a coin trick.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
You know, they're not going, well, that guy used 3 coins and the other guy used 6. A
Yeah.
trick is a coin trick is a coin trick. But
Yeah. That's
so
interesting
there's,
though.
yeah, and also, like, sight lines and people right up next to you, like, there are challenges, and that's awesome. Like, those are fun challenges.
Yeah. Are you finding the way you connect with your audience is different from when you're doing, because you do stand up, right? Like, do you do a stand up
I actually don't.
set?
I do when I everyone asks me that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I it's funny, I think it was in 2019 or something. I tried to do a few little like open mics in the city, and I was like, this is I just learned very quickly. I was like, this is really its own beast and its
Yeah.
own world. Maybe at some point I'll try to really like put the time and work into that.
Hmm.
But right now it's really just a part of my magic. And like when I work on stage, there is a lot of stand up woven into that. So I do enjoy like writing stand up
Hmm.
and sort of going into that vibe, but I don't really do exclusively stand up
Right.
at this juncture.
Right. So, how do you do close up, seated close up predominantly, or
I mean, speakeasy is what I do most of the time. So that
and you're
is,
seated?
you're seated.
Yeah.
When I do private events, it's usually strolling,
Hmm.
in shorter sets, obviously. And then I have like a stage act that I will do at, that's what I did at the castle,
Hmm.
in the parlor room. That's what I do at the lounge. If I, sometimes for corporate, like a lot of women's events, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I have that piece that I do it I work at the slipper room. So I get to sort of work those pieces out there.
Cool.
But
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it's interesting. All of you guys kind of in the New York scene in that little pocket, you guys kind of all seem to
Hmm.
intermingle, and
Yeah.
that's cool. I hope it lasts for a very long time because I had my fun in New York, and there was not an exciting magic scene when I was there, and I told Alex and Matt this as well, that there wasn't anything exciting. Monday Night Magic was still going on, and
And that was
um
it, right? Well,
yeah.
I mean, Steve Cohen has been around for a long time, but
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pay, you
yeah,
know?
right. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's
and
the
now I
scene has
would. Back
really
then I couldn't.
exploded.
Yeah. So do you know, or are you aware that you're part of this sort of resurgence in close-up magic?
Yeah, I mean, not on purpose, but it
Right, obviously, yeah.
totally exploded, and it's great, I think.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because I talked about this during the pandemic, that I had a feeling that close-up magic was gonna have some sort of a pivot. We were already going in that direction, I think,
Yeah.
anyways.
But I totally agree with that. I really think that COVID played a part in that need for that close-up interaction.
Right. And if
I
we're gonna
really
do
think
it, then
people
let's
crave it.
fucking do it. Yeah.
Totally. I
Yeah.
really think people crave it. I mean, they're because it's not, stage, you're sort of disconnected from the performer in a way, but close up, I mean, we're learning everyone's name, like we're learning your names, we're making eye contact with you, like we're interacting
Yeah.
with you, and I really do think that people are still craving that, especially because even though, we're not like in the thick of COVID anymore, people are still working remotely a lot.
Mhm.
Which is very isolating.
Yeah.
I worked remotely in fashion for a bit, and you're so alone.
Mhm.
Even having meetings over Zoom is not the same as having a meeting in person, and I think
Right.
people are really craving that connection.
Yeah. It's interesting. I had a friend of mine go see David Blaine and in Las Vegas, and he knew his specials. He had seen him on TV, just like a non-magic person is aware of David Blaine. So he went to go see David Blaine in Las Vegas, and his biggest thing about it was it's really fascinating to see on display David Blaine's greatest hits of
Hmm.
endurance and all that stuff. But he bought the ticket where David comes and he does magic for you before or after the
Okay,
show.
cool.
And he said that was worth the price of the experience because
I
you're
believe that.
seeing it up close.
Totally. And people even, people say, but it was right there, or it was in my hand, or
Right.
I was watching the whole time,
Right.
even though in some ways certain misdirection is actually easier up close than on stage,
Right.
to them
100%.
it feels like, how could they be hiding anything? It's right here. And I think that's awesome. It amplifies things.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. I'm like, but
That's interesting.
for me, it's like you're going to see David Blaine, like, so. But I get that though, because I think for him there was that, like you said, there was that disconnect of, like, okay, we're up really high up on this thing, and now he's falling onto the boxes. Great, but what was the point? Like, what?
Right. I've
And I
heard the show is very cool. I haven't gotten the chance to see it. But right, when you're in the audience, like you're not as part of the show as an
right,
audience as you
right,
are in an up close setting. That's just my opinion.
yeah. I thought it was interesting because I would have been fully immersed in the whole thing, like, you know,
Totally.
into everything that he's doing. So I do think that it's interesting to be around audiences that are really hungry for close up magic. Hungry is probably not a great way to describe that, but I guess
Oh
hungry.
yeah, I think that's
Are do they want to see more? Like when you're done performing, they're like, is there any more magic left? Like, is there
totally. I think,
really?
when I am at my last table of the night before I do my closer, I always build it up and I say, this is your last trick of the evening, so savor it. And you see people go like, wait, what? Because I think the way that our show is paced, it goes by quickly. When you're sitting and you're watching an hour-long show, you're there for
Right.
but because of the clip of the show and the way it's paced out, I think it goes by quickly. And also, and this is what I love, sometimes people hang out at the bar after, and I love asking people, like, how'd you hear about the show?
Yeah.
And more often than not, the answer is, this is a repeat. They've come before, now they're coming again. They brought a different group of people. I came with my parents, I had to bring my office, or I came with
Right.
my friends, I had to bring my partner. And that's great because that means that that person was like, oh my God, I have to see more of what I just saw. And
Right.
the other thing that I love is someone goes, oh, I saw a really great magic show and I said, I need more magic. I saw
Mm.
Steve Cohen, or I saw Ossie Wind, or I saw Dan White, and I needed more magic. And I think that's wonderful because that
Mm-hmm.
tells me that all these different shows are kind of supporting each other,
Right.
and we're all creating this buzz in
Mm-hmm.
the city of magic, and we're kind of creating magic fans, which is
Mm-hmm.
very cool. People
Yeah.
go, oh my God, I need more.
Yeah.
And that's so great. And that shows us that we're doing a good job, that those other shows are
Yeah.
doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
it's good for the community. It's good for the industry. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very strange being a non-professional, always a conjurer. So it's one of those things where it's like my family is fully aware, and I have friends who are fully aware that I do magic. I don't perform very much for them per se,
right.
but when I do perform, they are absolutely fascinated. Whereas even 5 years ago, I would do something and they'd be like, okay, that's cool, whatever.
Right. But
But
there's just more of like
yeah,
a craving for it.
and quality magic as well,
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is, bad magic shows are bad for magic
Mm-hmm.
because then people go, yeah, I don't like magic.
100%.
No one goes to a bad concert and goes, I guess I don't like music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
But
talked to parents at my son's school and, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, well, this will be interesting how they react. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm a barber, I'm a podcast host, and I'm also a magician. And they go, really? That's
yeah, right.
interesting.
Totally. And sometimes and this I love too, is sometimes people come to Speakeasy and they're like, oh my God, I had to drag my husband. He didn't think magic was for adults. And I was like, no, you got to see this show. And I think that's so cool because I feel like all of these shows collectively are changing the public perception of magic.
100%.
When I tell people I'm a magician, they'll go, oh my God, have you seen Dan White? Or, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, have you been to Speakeasy? And I'm like, bitch, that's my house.
Right.
But I love that when I tell people that and they go, oh my God, have you seen Steve Cohen? Because that to me tells me that
Yeah.
the public perception is changing.
I had a family member go to 69 Atlantic, and they said the same thing. They were like, "Do you?"
Oh, it's so dreamy there.
Yeah, they were like, "Are you aware that it's like a magic shop without tricks?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I it's art of play, so I can only imagine how
Right.
wondrous the
Oh,
entire." But they said, "Are you aware that there's like a theater, a small theater in the back, and we saw a magician?" And I was like, "Do you know the name of the magician?" They were like, "No, we don't remember, but it was unbelievable." And I was
yeah.
like, "Interesting. You don't know the name of the magician, but you
Crazy.
remember."
You bought a ticket,
Yeah.
but it's real. They've created something really special there. I mean, it's so intimate,
Mm-hmm.
and they're bringing in I'm going to see Rob Zabrecki tonight there. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that'll
What's
be my
interesting?
third time.
Really? Did you went the first time he was there?
Oh no, my third time at the space. I saw Williamson, which was like just
Amazing.
100 out of 100. He's my number one up at the top.
Yeah.
And I saw Andre there.
Nice.
I don't know
Mhm.
how to say his last name, but love him dearly, and I really wanted to see his full hour, and it was totally awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I either could be ahead of the curve, behind the curve, or there is no curve because there's nothing like that. We have one guy who does a show here in Atlanta but there's nothing else. And we have Kyle Littleton here who's doing
Oh,
amazing
right,
things.
he lives there. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great.
yeah, he's doing awesome things in this very quirky, very him art space that's tucked
Mm,
downstairs in the basement.
cool.
Yeah. Um so shout out to Kyle Littleton. I don't think he knew I was going to do that, but
Hi,
um
Kyle.
yeah, it's one of those things where but that's very him. So that's like his pocket of stand-up comedy and magic and doing that, but there's no Speakeasy or 69 Atlantic
Right.
here.
Or even, I mean, Nashville has the House of Cards
House,
and
which
Chicago.
is 2.5 hours from us.
Okay, so not too far. And then, Chicago has the Lounge and
Yeah.
the Rhapsody, and yeah.
Growing up in Chicago, was magic like, was it prevalent? Like, was it alive there at the time when you were in Chicago, or not so much?
Not so much. I mean, my dad and I would there's a magic shop in the city called Magic Inc. And then there was
Hmm.
another magic shop about an hour outside of the city, more or less. And we would go there for lectures. So there were lecturers coming through, which means that there were magicians to support that.
Right.
We would ride his Vespa, which was adorable. This cherry red Vespa, which are with our little matching helmets.
Nice.
Or like a very nerdy cartoon.
Very Italian.
Yeah, which we're not, but here we are. Yeah, so we would like go see lectures there. We would go to the magic shop, but there wasn't, the lounge wasn't around then.
Hmm.
And also I wasn't really connected with the community at that time. So maybe there was stuff going on that I didn't know about. I'm sure there was actually because Simon Aronson was there, and I think that they had a group that would meet up, but certainly not like it is now where
Right.
it's exploding.
Yeah. My brother-in-law's brother and his wife live in Chicago, and they're like, come visit, come visit. And I was like, we can go to Chicago Magic Lounge. And they were like, magic in Chicago is really blowing up. And I was like, really? And so that's such a strange thing to hear.
Totally, but it is. I mean, the lounge is sold out all the time. Like,
Mm,
and the Rhapsody is bringing in cool people, and
yeah. I think
Josh
it's,
Day did a run of his show there, and
yeah. I didn't realize the Rhapsody was in Chicago.
yeah.
Nice. No, I definitely, it's strange I had my time in New York. I had family that was very active there. And it's so crazy to be like, New York was not the place for magic. And then now it is. I think it's incredible. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And Chicago as well. And it's almost like Las Vegas has, in my opinion, clearly dwindled down as being the capital of magic because I think once everybody that was on the stage starts to dwindle down a little bit and everything, it kind of, I don't know, it's very strange because my dad was like,
Yeah.
so Magic's not big in Las Vegas, like Copperfield's still there. I was like, yeah, but Copperfield is what it is, you know? He's there performing. I was like, but there's no innovation, and I could be wrong there, but
Yeah,
there's
I mean, there's definitely some cool. I just think it's very different, the style there,
yeah.
obviously. But like Colin Cloud has his new show there, and Matt Franco, and like there are some young folks who have some very cool shows that are up there. So I don't
Yeah.
know if I would say it may not be as strong as it used to be there. I do
Right.
think it is still very prevalent, but it's so different. Like there's not close
Yeah.
up there the same way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not really intimate. It's big Las Vegas
Mhm.
production value.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Do you feel like because it's such a male dominated industry that you had a hard time breaking into it, or
So
we're going to go down that rabbit hole?
let's go down the rabbit hole. Okay. If you're not interested, turn off the podcast now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't actually. And by the way, if you're inclined to turn it off now, maybe you need to stay on.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe you're the one who
100%.
needs to listen. So it's interesting. I'll tell you about my first magic convention because I think that was sort of indicative of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
overall experience. My dad took me to Magic Live in Las Vegas. I think I was 17, and it's my first ever magic convention, and it was my first time engaging with the community outside of those like really small lectures. And it was like the most adrenaline and excitement filled week ever. I mean, I remember I didn't stop smiling the whole time. Like my face hurt from smiling
Right.
because I was meeting all these people who I'd seen on DVDs and in
Right.
books, and I was like, to me, everyone was a celebrity. Like,
100.
I mean, genuinely, I was like blown away. Like, I couldn't believe I was meeting these people in person. And at the time, I was also, 17 is a funny age when you're sort of becoming an adult.
Mhm.
And it was a funny age as a woman to enter the community because at that convention, I was getting a lot of attention,
Mhm.
which felt really good at the time
Mhm.
because I was like, whoa, like these celebrities like want to talk to me?
Mm.
Like, oh my God, like that's so special. I can't believe it. And in hindsight, I'm like,
Yikes.
it's
Yeah.
not, I was getting attention for the wrong reason. And at the
Mhm.
time, it felt really like cool because I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that person, like,
Right.
noticed me and would talk to me. And it's because I was a blonde 17-year-old. I mean, it's not,
Wow. Yeah.
but I also remember, like, you know, I had an experience at another convention where I remember there were a couple guys sitting around and I said, can I show you a trick and maybe get some feedback? And I did the trick. And all they said was, well, I don't know. We've never seen a girl do a double lift before. And
Holy shit.
I was like, awesome, dude. And the other thing is like people would just say like the nastiest shit to me you've ever heard. I
Right.
mean, whispering in my ear and
Which is
touching me.
crazy.
Like, it's not crazy. It's normal.
But
It's the
in
way
my
things
world it is
are.
because I have a 15-year-old, daughter who
Not bring her to a magic convention.
right, like for me it's like spidey senses go up immediately. Like it's
Oh
like
my God, of
holy shit.
course. Pockets of folks, including Speakeasy, where, you know, people will, help
Yeah.
me and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the bigger concern in my eyes is when you're performing for men who can be aggressive or realize you are just a woman, fuck the magic, and they start talking to you a certain way, what does that look like
So
exiting that situation? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
I mean,
crazy.
right. Other magicians are one thing because also, like, you're in this very weird position where it's like, well, what can you say? Because then people are gonna think of you as like an uptight bitch and
Yeah.
not cool and not what, it's really
Mm-hmm.
a poor position. And also, like, it's the same as being a woman anywhere. Like, if you
Right.
dress too sexy, people are going to think that's all you've got to offer, even if you're doing great magic. And if you don't dress sexy, you're booked less and you're less interesting. And you really can't win. There is no winning. And the other thing that, and this is something that I weighs very heavily on me, is that, like, I'm not allowed to get old.
Mm.
That's not really like
Interesting. Yeah.
women are not given grace when they age or gain weight the same
Yeah.
way men are. No one is like, men people call a silver fox or
Right.
daddy or, like you look so good with your gray hair. Like,
Who are these women? Where
right.
who are these women that are
You know what I mean? But like it's the way, women often date older. Like there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
The
100%.
standards are so different. Like, and I look at female comedians, I look at comedy, and I think that's really a good mirror in that look at all of the female comedians who are very famous right now.
Yeah.
Nikki Glazer, Eliza Schlesinger, Ali Wong,
Yeah.
like all of these women look fucking incredible.
Right.
Whitney Cummings, all these women are like 40 in the best shape of their lives because they have to be,
Mm-hmm.
have had some work done, no shade, but
Yeah.
like because they have to.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
being fuckable doesn't make you more funny, but it does make you more bookable.
Right.
I think
Interesting.
like, Tom Segura isn't, you know what I
Can
mean,
Tom Segura.
getting Botox and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's sort of a good mirror and that's how I feel in magic. I sort of feel like I'm not really allowed to because I look at the women who get booked and the women who don't and that's awful. Like that's not a good it's just a sort of an extra weight on my shoulders in a way. That sucks.
Yeah. I
That
think
how I
that's
look.
heavy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women in a lot of industries feel that and
But
and
you
I
were on
hear
the cover of Genie, right?
I was on the cover of
So
Genie.
there's that.
There's that, which is
I
cool.
mean,
But I hear what I think because I'm around men all the time and I'm not talking about like anyone in particular, but like I hear how people talk
yeah.
about women, it's not and that all weighs on me. I'm like, "Oh, cool, remind me not to get old or fat." Like it's,
That's so crazy. I don't
you
know.
know, it,
Maybe I'm just not part of those conversations. I just respect the hell out of women because of my experiences in life. So my opinion on it's totally different. I actually don't tolerate it at all, being disrespectful to anybody, but more so disrespectful to like women in general, like
yeah, it's just it
very
can be hard to be taken
defensive.
seriously and I also, by the way, I hear how some women talk about each other
But that's
because yeah, well, and the other thing, and we can talk about Mystify, which was so incredible, this convention that Leah Orleans
yeah.
put together, but something that Joan Decor brought up, and I realized I had experienced it, but had never talked about it with anybody, which is the effect of men saying to you, you're the only good one.
Hmm.
You're the only good female magician, or you're the best female magician, and it's like, it puts other women down and it's
Doing the
like
same thing.
no, I'm good outside of that.
Yeah.
And what happens, and this is why tokenism is not great, is that it pits women against each other in a way. It creates jealousy, it creates cattiness, because you feel like there can only be one. Meanwhile, there's plenty of work. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
there can only be
Yeah.
one woman on the show, or there can, it's like, that shouldn't be true, and it's not really true. So I think all of that kind of weighs on me a bit.
It's
Um,
interesting.
and sort of takes up some of my emotional bandwidth.
Yeah. I think it's interesting a man's perspective. No, I think it's interesting because in my world, in my cosmos of things, it's the industry as a whole. The industry was never set out specifically for male or female. Same thing with comedy. It just existed.
Mm-hmm.
But men in the industry have trailblazed both industries, and it's one of those things where when there's a pivotal moment of growth and change, I think there's just so many people who are like, women in comedy, women as a magician, that it's like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And
And
that
by the
doesn't
way,
even go into like trans,
oh my God, of course. And by
right?
the
Which
way,
is like still very early.
in some ways, it's totally a leg up. Like, in some
Yeah.
ways, you get, because there's fewer of us, there are more eyes on you, there is more attention on you. Sometimes you get opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise get. So there are definitely, like, let's not pretend that doesn't exist, because
Right.
and by the way, and I have strong feelings about that too, in that, like, first of all, I'm not turning down work. Like, if somebody was like, we're booking you because we need a woman, I'm not saying, no, I'm taking a stand. Like, great, I'll
Right.
do the show. But I want to make sure that nobody leaves that show saying, oh, and they got a woman. I want them to leave that show going, oh, she was so good, or she was so funny, or
Right.
whatever. I don't want that to be the reason I was booked, and to stay the reason I was booked. That's
Right.
important to me. The other thing is, sometimes, like, even at Speakeasy, sometimes if people have lower expectations of you, it's kind of fun to get to knock those expectations
Right.
down and do some hard-hitting magic that,
Right.
that feels good too. So there are
Yeah.
definitely some positives. I don't want to say that it's all bad or anything. And the people that I've surrounded myself with, there's a group called the Magnets that I hang out with, and Speakeasy, they've all been incredibly supportive. And I appreciate that. An example I always give is that I think one of the reasons it's hard to get feedback, it's hard to get notes as a woman in particular, is sometimes people think, oh, that's good enough for a girl, or they want to sleep with you, so they don't want to give you harsh feedback or whatever.
Yeah.
But a great example is, one time Mark Calabrese was like walking by a table I was doing, and he was like, we need to fix your closer. And, like, great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sat down and we fixed it and we made it better. And, like, that's what everybody needs and want. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's what you need to get better. And I love that at Speakeasy, I can go, I'm working on this move. How do I do it better? And
Right.
Alex will go, actually, I have a better move for you. Or Mark will go, or Matt will get, you know what I mean? Everybody will
Right.
go, ooh, actually, what about this? And that's, like, I feel so privileged to get to
Right.
work with those people. And, like, I'm sort of the newest in the room, because I had worked in I wasn't serious about magic in the way that I am now, until much later than all these guys. And I think of that as sort of a privilege, that
Yeah.
I like that, I'm excited that there's so much more for me to learn, and that I can learn from these folks. And even, I added a drink production into my act at the beginning, and, like, that was a team effort, like, I sort of
100%.
came in with a thought, and then Alex went, well, what about this? And then Mark went, well, what about this? And Prakash was, oh, you should add this to it. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
gets to be,
You're
and then
collaborating.
you're collaborating. And I think
Yeah.
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
anybody who says, like, no, I did this myself, I don't want to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
you should ask for an opinion, because someone
Yeah.
is probably smarter than you.
100%. My best friend in magic is exactly like that. I'll be reading something or working on something, and we'll set up some sort of whatever this is, and we'll talk about it, and he'll be like, oh well, Justin Heim has this variation, try that out, or there's this, and
Totally.
and I always asked him, I was like, I have some crazy ideas, and you never judge any of them. You never like sit there and you go,
You got to
that's
get
just
all the ideas out.
right. Like
Even
that's
if
just
they're bad.
ridiculous. Like a key floating across the room, and then it's doing what, and then what, and then he's always been very like, but what's the goal here, and how do we want that to look? And I think it is
Yeah.
important to find those people who you can have in your circle. I'm very protective of many things, but with myself, I don't waste my time with having people in my circle that don't serve a purpose for whatever it is I'm trying to do, whether that be magic or writing or this or whatever it is. I have a very small group of people that I heavily lean on
Mhm.
for feedback and advice.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also, especially at Speakeasy, we all have, no matter what's going on socially, personally, anything, we all have the same goal of the show should be as good as it can possibly be.
100%.
Which means even if one person is not friends with another person, they'll give the magic help.
Yeah.
No one is gatekeeping how to make
Yeah.
something better. And I think that's a very special thing about Speakeasy, that even folks who have an act that they've been doing the same way for 10 years, someone will come in and go, what if you changed that moment right there?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a mutual respect, we're open to each other's feedback,
Right.
which is also really important, because feedback is hard. Feedback is hard to give. Feedback is hard to take. Feedback is hard to ask for.
Yeah. Which
I think,
historically hasn't always been well in the magic
yeah,
world.
yeah. And,
Yeah.
I think, right, all that's, why are there not as many women in magic, or why are some, whatever. Some of that does come in with feedback, which is, an important part of getting better.
Was the Mystify convention, was that the first one that was put on?
Yes.
So now there's this convention aimed for women in the industry, or
Yeah.
what was that like?
It was amazing. It was incredible. On the very base level, it was run extremely well. Fabulous tech team. Everything started on time. Everything ended on time. There were a good number of activities. It wasn't overstuffed, but also there wasn't like weird dead time. Things were sized really well. So just kudos to Leah and the whole team on that, just to start, because that in itself, I think, is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. And there was a good mix of straight magic lectures on creativity, lectures on business, and also just like conversations. There were these panels that were just, it was a discussion, conversation. And what I saw, and I'm very lucky that I'm at a place in my career that when I go to a convention, people don't talk to me the way they used to, which feels like a weird superpower in a way.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and I love it, because I'm just like, sorry, what? Like, they know not to say that to me, because I'll put it in the act.
Right.
But I don't care. I don't have any shame. What I saw at this convention was women and trans folks and queer people and people of color who are all magicians who I've never seen at another convention before, who do not feel comfortable in their own communities, feeling free in a magic setting.
Interesting.
And I was in charge of the scholarships. So I read through all the scholarship applications, and they were all like, yeah, people say really inappropriate things at my local magic club, so I really want to like find some community.
Wow.
Magicians take that community that they do have for granted.
That's amazing.
That was, they accomplished that. Like,
Yeah.
I saw people make friends and see old friends, and we're able to relax in a way that we normally can't at conventions,
Yeah.
like even at Magic Live this last year, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I got to perform. It was my first time ever performing at Magic Live. Stan Allen was so wonderful to work for with whatever. And I was on the lineup of these FISM winners, which was weird because I was like, I have a dick joke. And then you're gonna see the best manip you've ever seen.
Right.
Which was so fun. But even then, even when you're on the lineup, I had people saying, somebody came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you were so funny." And like, women are not really funny, but you were so funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that someone thought was like a compliment.
Yeah.
And like, what a weird way to shit on all women, but tell me I'm the good one. Like, that's horrible. What do you mean? And there was
It's
none of
fascinating.
that, which was awesome. I mean,
Fascinating. It's really fascinating that there was a convention that took place and everyone felt included and seen and heard and respected. It's almost like that part in The Wizard of Oz where she's like, everybody can come back out, the witch is gone, and everyone's like
yeah,
peeking around, and the
it
munchkins are
totally felt like that.
interesting. That's very interesting.
Another thing that it did, which was great, is, representation does matter. Whatever you want to say, it does. It does. Because I hear about young girls who go, like, I don't know who to model myself after.
Right.
Because that's what you
100%.
do when you get into magic. Before you figure out your own persona, you're modeling after someone else's. You
Yeah.
know? I
Yeah.
mean, you're looking at David Copperfield, or maybe you're watching, it's
100%.
and I feel like conventions are a great place to sort of see different types of magic showcase,
Mm-hmm.
and but they're never women. And it's
Yeah.
harder to sort of model yourself when you're a young person after men. I mean, it is. It's
Yeah.
harder, and then it creates more of a learning curve. I mean, I spent years telling jokes that were weird coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Do you feel like across your journey, like looking back on, like, no, nothing negative toward your dad, but like realizing like your dad is a man and he's teaching you magic, and then we're watching videos and they're all men, and like, did it strike you early on that you're like, why the fuck isn't there any
You
women?
know, I think it I think it affected me less when it was just me and my dad, because it was such a safe, comfy, happy thing. It was like me and my dad.
Right.
And we were like bonding over this. And I was,
100%.
it almost didn't matter then.
Mm-hmm.
It was more when I got into the community and the way people spoke to me and the way people looked at me. And, I would go with the magnets to a convention and people would go, "Whose wife are you?" Like,
Wow.
that's the assumption, is like, "Oh, who dragged you here?" And I'm like, "Me, I dragged me here."
Yeah.
And it's really disheartening, and it can be really, it's very demeaning, and it's very condescending, and so when it was just me and my dad, I think it was so wholesome that it like didn't matter really.
Yeah.
And also, I was in high school and I was doing magic in high school for my friends, and nobody in my high school like knew about magic or was familiar with the magic scene. So no one was like, "For a girl, you're great." Like, everyone was just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you're a magician. Cool."
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until I sort of became an adult and was more in the industry that I felt more like, and there have been so many amazing people who have supported me and who have been incredible. It's certainly not all bad,
Yeah.
but it definitely, yeah,
Yeah. I just
it
wasn't raised
matters.
that way. Like, I don't know. It's such a, that's a whole other podcast and topic, but I think I wasn't raised that way. So, like, the fact that I didn't meet a magician until I had to be like late teens, maybe even early 20s. I never talked to another magician. Like,
Yeah.
so I didn't even know that there were other like people interested in magic besides like you're seeing clips of Doug Henning and David Copperfield and
Right.
David Blaine, right? Like, these are people who in my mind, somehow made it, you know, and they're doing
No, and
it.
even in older, you're looking at Johnny Thompson, you're looking, and it's yeah.
Yeah. So I don't, I never really thought about race, or like there was a line drawn in the sand that said this has to be a male dominated industry.
Yeah. And also, but it's also look at the way that women are portrayed in magic.
Oh, that's interesting too. The
Ass-
assistant.
I mean,
Yeah.
assistants, first of all, are doing a lot of the work. But also, but besides that, it's like, look at this hot piece of ass I have. Like that's, they're scantily clad, and I'm not, and I'm, it's that's how women are portrayed. It's hot. And even
Yeah.
look at those illusions. It's like I'm stabbing this woman, or I'm cutting this woman
Right.
apart, or I'm
Right.
like, that's
Interesting.
the premise of all of those illusions.
Very interesting. But they were also, I'm sure somewhere there's information that says those are created by men who had that perception of what women should be in magic, maybe, or
Yeah.
just in
And
women
even
in
like
general. Like they belong in a box and we're going to cut them in half. And like,
and even like I remember there was one gig I did with a bunch of other magicians I was with, and I remember I was with Alex Boyce and Patrick Davis. So they heard it happen. There were a few other magicians too. It was like some big corporate thing. And I wore like a suit, like black pants and I always wear a blazer.
power suit.
And yeah, because I'm a bad bitch. But and by the way, there's nothing wrong if you want to wear a sparkly dress or something more feminine, and sometimes I do. There's less pockets, like whatever.
Yeah.
Also, I like blazers. I like the look. I like the way I feel in them. That's what I prefer. And I
Super
remember the
cool.
booker was like, "Oh, is that what you're wearing?" And I was like,
Shit.
"Yeah, what's the problem?" Like,
Shit.
what's the problem? Like they have certain expectations, and it is, by the way, it is tough to figure out what to wear as a woman. Like,
Really?
yeah, I've
Interesting.
had other women ask me for advice about, where do I shop? What do I do? Like,
Yeah, I find that with my wife a lot. Like I'm kind of the style fashion forward person in the house, like buying the latest this or whatever.
yeah, right.
And she's like, "Where are you?" Like she'll come to me and be like, "Where's are you getting that from? Like do they have women's stuff and like do
What
they?"
store do I go to? Yeah,
Yeah, H&M isn't doing it. Their spring collection is weird. I don't live in Europe and I don't dress like
right,
that.
totally.
So she's like, "What do you think? Should I go here and shop or should I go here?" And she literally, like, we're redoing her closet right now, and she's we call it runway night, where she just puts on all these clothes and
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm sorry, that's adorable.
thank
I'm
you,
so happy for
thank
you
you.
guys.
And so she'll sit there, and to be completely honest and very frank, she's not interested in the babe, you look so sexy, you look so
Right,
good. She's interested in, does this look good? Yes or no?
right.
Like,
It's like,
does
yeah, just say it. Just say it. It's
right.
fine.
And
Totally.
she actually appreciates that 30 times over more than me being like, that outfit looks good, that blazer and, suit pant looks great or whatever. Even to the point of where like her suits that she does have, I did menswear, but not like Elliot Terrell has done where it's on a whole different level. I've done menswear, but I'm always like, I don't know, the shoulders are a little bit, and we need to go to the tailor. We got to go to the tailor, and
Yeah,
then like I'll just,
yeah.
and she's like, it looks great. So I totally understand that. I totally get how
Totally. And
it's
like when I've had a few podcasts, because I used to I used to be a designer. So people will ask,
right,
and when it comes to men, they're, what do I wear? Get a suit. Like,
right,
if you want to do something more interesting, that's fine. Figure out what works for you. But like a well-fitting suit should be the default. And it's the default. And I will say the men at Speakeasy dress so well. A
yeah,
lot of them get their suits custom made. They all go to the same
100%,
dye.
yeah,
They look so sharp.
it's amazing.
But as a what like, and I actually sometimes take for granted that I don't have that much trouble figuring out what to wear because I worked in fashion. Maybe like that, I always sort of knew what I wanted to look like, knew the style. But even then, I remember I was working. There was a show called Taste of Magic, which was put on by the Magnets for a long time. And it was like a dinner theater show. And it was great. It was really built to like give flight time to young magicians. And it's sort of where I originally started to cut my teeth. But I remember I was like wearing these kind of sexy dresses. And my friend Eli was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, you're allowed to wear anything you want, but like, you should think about if this actually fits your persona.
Yeah.
And that was like, right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Interesting.
And sometimes I see female magicians who dress sexy and I can tell that it's what they want and they look awesome and they have confidence and I'm like, yes, like if that is what's true to you, like that's amazing. Do you look hot, get it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like women dress sexy because they feel like they have to. And
that
you
sucks.
feel uncomfortable and you feel like, you know.
That's so crazy. I don't know. I'm not in that environment. You know, from a very young age. I mean, my uncle was gay. So it's like from a young age, immediately right out the gate, it's like, your uncle's gay. And it's like, so what does that look like? And then, just being around different people and.
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me that there's experiences like that, though.
Yeah. And they're pretty, I mean, amongst women, they're pretty universal. You know, it's very.
Yeah. I've had experiences like that as a Hispanic. Like,
sure, of course.
Yeah, just being number one, understanding that the industry, it's the same. It's not the same thing, but it's parallel to the point of where I'm watching videos and I'm like, that guy's not Hispanic. Like, that's a white guy. All right. That's also a white guy. We'll watch this video. Oh, another white guy, and it's like,
totally.
There's nobody. And then you get a little, yeah. And then you get like Rocco, who's Italian, and that's right. Interesting. And then,
sure. Rocco is Rocco. I mean,
Rocco's Rocco. So
Rocco's doing Rocco. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, there was nobody that looked like me. So it's
totally.
great.
And even like, I mean, pockets are even though I wear jackets and sometimes suit pants, the pocket situation is not the same.
Interesting.
Like at all. I often will cut out the pockets of my jackets and install bigger pockets because they're like this. They're like this high.
Yeah. Huh.
And they're dainty. Boop, boop, boop. They're,
That's so crazy.
They're just for keeping your hopes and dreams. Like there's no.
Yeah. So like at Mystify, are you guys talking about this stuff? Like at Mystify? Like I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Totally. Absolutely. And I have had like, I also do, like I work at Tannen's camp and I've had girls be like, what do I wear? And I'm like, I'm going to send you some links. You're going to buy them. You're going to look great. Like, yeah,
100%.
Which is great because I want a young generation of women to dress exactly like me. So let's go. You're going to be the example. There's this one young woman, Isha, who's so awesome. And she was like, yeah, at the castle, someone was like, oh, you dress like Rachel Wax. And I was like, she dressed me. I was like, yeah.
Who are you wearing? Rachel Wax.
And you look great.
That's pretty awesome. That's awesome. It's funny how a lot of people looking for inspiration can really just kind of like plug and play. There was a kid that I was mentoring who's out of magic now. And I would show him things and he would pick up on it really quickly, which is a whole other conversation about how quickly the younger magicians are.
Oh my God.
But watching his hands and the way he like would shuffle and everything, I'm like, holy shit, it looks just like, you're copying me, right? As the example.
Totally.
It's funny how they absorb it. And it's definitely something to be proud of for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's, again, there's nothing wrong with all these male men. Obviously, if you're a woman, you're not like, I'm not watching Johnny Thompson because I thought, you should learn from all these people. These are all, you should read Vernon. You should do that. But
that was a good Vernon impression, by the way.
Was it? Okay. By the way, I was watching. God.
It's all in the magic wand. It's all the way.
Well, I was working on the linking rings the past couple months.
Yeah.
I just never. The linking rings is funny. I never really was interested in it.
It's not for me.
You know what? I didn't think it was for me. I'm kind of having fun. playing with it, but I was watching Vernon on the, World's Greatest video, and it's, I mean,
Yeah.
he's really old in the video, and he's
Right.
like, and it's,
And this one passes through this one, and this one
but you
does
know
this.
what? It is like the best.
Right.
It is like one of the best versions. So here we are. Yeah, which is just, yeah.
My favorite Vernon is Revelations DVDs, just grumpy, not wanting to really.
Totally.
That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. Yeah.
Right, and right, and he's like, no, that's what I said. This is
Yeah.
it,
That's
But
not
you
how.
know what? That's where the cups and balls. That's all,
Yeah.
revert back.
At some point, it turns into like when your grandparent gets so frustrated, everyone's like, the awkwardness is loud. It's.
Totally, but you know what? That's the good shit.
Yeah,
That's the good shit.
100%.
I love watching Matt do the Vernon cups and balls. I love it's.
Yeah. Do you do cups and balls? Well, what do you perform? Like, can you tip it? Like, what sort of magic do you?
So I do a lot of, first of all, everything's very comedy based. I also do a lot of sort of my own version of classics.
Yeah.
Because I want things that fit me and my persona. And I think a good example of that is, I'll give you two examples. I think I love rope magic. I think it can be really beautiful.
Interesting.
And very fooling.
Yeah.
I think rope magic that's done well is actually incredibly fooling because the ropes there's no gimmick. They can be examined. They can be, whatever. And my dad does rope magic, and I always thought, especially up close, it's a real mind fuck.
Yeah.
If you do it slowly, and if you do, I mean, it can be really beautiful.
Right.
So I was doing rope magic at Speakeasy for a while, and I couldn't find a good way to explain the prop. Why do I have rope?
Right.
That isn't tie you up. Sorry,
right.
Kiwi. Kiwi, no bark, sweetheart. Hey, make a better choice. Hey, we're not doing that. And also, it really opened the door for people to be like, "Oh, will you tie me up?" And
yeah,
I mean, people would say that to me all the fucking time. What else can you make longer?
Right.
And I'm like, what a weird way to expose the size of your penis to me.
Right.
I'm sorry for your situation. So I was like, cool, how do I make rope magic? Because I still really liked the effect, and also no one else was doing it at Speakeasy. And, so I do one with phone chargers, and I talk about phone charger lengths, I have all these jokes, and it's a really fun routine. And I made, they're not just phone chargers because those don't really work prop wise. So I'm relatively crafty. So I figured out I use a parachute cord, and I cut it, I cauterize it, and then I cut the ends of the actual charger and I put them in there.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like, I know there's like one guy in California who released it, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And then somebody else came up to me at the session, was like, oh, hey, just so you know, like, I know somebody who's putting this out. Like, is that okay? And I was like, look, I never published it.
Yeah.
Go make your $100. Like,
yeah,
rock on,
sure.
Whatever.
Was that your first time at the session? How was that?
I loved it.
It's in the UK.
Yeah, it's in London.
So, first time in London?
No, not my first time in London.
Okay. No, I haven't been to the session. I do have a couple people who sent me different videos and notes and things from there that were interesting. But you talked about mind mapping and magic.
Yes.
Right? So it's a book.
It's a little booklet.
Okay.
It's a booklet.
Booklet. Tell me all about it.
Booklet. So they had asked me to do, Josh was like, can you do a show, and do you have a lecture? And I was like, I don't have a lecture. And then he was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you like an hour slot. And what I did was I did a show, and then I did a mini lecture. And I was like, what am I gonna lecture on? Because I don't invent methods really. Like, I don't I don't have tricks to put out. That's
Mhm.
not, it's not something that is really in my wheelhouse, or, but what can I share with people? What do I have that I can share? And mind mapping is a tool that I use to help me take those classic routines and make them fit my persona. So I wanted to share just a very clear cut, here are the steps. I think mind mapping is a really great way to map out your persona.
Mhm.
Put your name in the middle of the mind map, and then just writing out what are the attributes of me as a person, of me as a performer. You can always erase stuff, but just getting it all out on paper, I think, is
Right.
very helpful. And sort of letting that persona map be your roadmap when you're choosing magic. Would this person do that trick?
Right.
Would this person use that prop?
Right.
And for example, I do a chop cup routine, but it's not a classic chop cup. The premise is that I'm in a coffee shop and I have my headphones and I have a coffee cup, and there's like a whole story that goes
Mhm.
into it, and I use a balled up napkin as the ball, and then there's a coffee load at the end. And that all started as I knew I wanted to do a liquid load for
Interesting.
like a chop cup. I had seen David Regal at a lecture 10 years ago, I mean a long time
Yeah.
ago, do the thing with the mugs and the marshmallows, and there was hot chocolate at the end. And I was like, that's the most magical thing I've ever seen in my life. I want to do, like, I just think it's so magical. Liquid
Yeah.
is magic. It's magic, because
Yeah.
where could you have been hiding it? Where,
Yeah.
it's loose.
Yeah.
It's on the loose.
Yeah.
So I started with that, and I put a very clear thing in the booklet, which is like, okay, let's say we put in the middle chop cup with liquid load. So what are some different types of cups?
Right.
There's solo cups, there's wine glasses, there's
Mhm.
cocktail glasses, there's coffee cups, there's teacups. And what are some items that could be the ball in those situations? Maybe you do a chop cup that's solo cups with beer pong balls and beer. Maybe you do, use the maraschino cherry as the ball and use like,
Yeah.
it's just a way to like put those thoughts
Yeah. Yeah.
down and try to generate more. And I often do mind mapping with a friend, to bounce ideas and to sort of not get stuck in a rut mentally. So I think some people found it helpful, and that's all I really wanted. Is for,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you believe in creative blocks, like in terms of like setting a block of time to be creative and do these things, or is it just about showing up and doing the work? Or
I think it really depends on your life and your lifestyle and what time you have to devote to it.
yeah.
I do think it's good to set aside time. I think it's good to set aside time to like put your phone down, not have any distractions. I like to go to a coffee shop, honestly, because if I'm home, I'm like, oh, I should clean that, or oh, that reminds me, I have to buy groceries, or, it's just
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
distracting to be at home, I think.
Right.
And also just, I think setting realistic goals is really important, because if you
Mhm.
say, you're, I'm a huge procrastinator, and like, I'm totally that person who's like, I will work for 3 hours tomorrow, and no, you won't. Set aside 20 minutes. Start
Right.
there. Like,
Right.
start small, start easy.
Achievable.
Achievable goals.
Yeah.
Also, oh, now the pug is here. Hello. Here she is.
Hi, Kiwi.
Kiwi, say hi, baby. Hello. Kiwi performed at Mystify.
But yeah, and how'd she do?
She did great. She came out of a cage
And looked around.
and said, Mama,
Yeah.
are you yawning? That's rude. That's rude.
Three
She was,
yawns in a row.
I know. Well, she has a very hard life.
How long have you had Kiwi?
I've had Kiwi.
Oh,
That's
big
a stretch.
stretches.
I've had Kiwi since she was 9 weeks old,
Wow.
and she's almost 3.
Aw. I have a golden doodle, and the kids named her Binks Luigi. My son wanted Luigi, and my daughter wanted Binks
That's
after the
really
cat from
cute.
Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I'm like, you have a cat's name, but your dog.
You know what? Whatever.
She loves it. She just
You
looked
had
at me.
kids. That's on you. You
Yeah.
can't have kids and a dog and not expect the kids to name the dog. That's not.
I wouldn't get them a cat. That was the whole pro. Like, I'm not
Why?
a
Cats
big
are
cat
so.
person. I don't know.
I'm not really either, but they're so little work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's as opposed to a dog. I wouldn't get them a
Just-
cat, but I'd get them a dog. What do you?
Right. That's true. I've always said that you don't own a cat owns you, and it does its own thing.
That's
And
true. Yes. Yes, that's right. I live in Frosty's apartment.
right, it's their world, not yours.
Yeah, but guess which one racks up a bigger vet bill?
Good point. All right, we're
The
getting rid of you.
designer
That's
dog?
it. Get out. That's funny. Yeah.
Wait, you cut out. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's back.
Are you there? It says,
Yeah.
what does this say? It says, your thing. What should I do? It says it stopped recording on your end. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
How are you
Is
on
it still
time?
recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have like 45.
Okay. Let's see. What
Sorry,
else?
I lost my train of thought before. I was distracted.
No,
by
you're
my daughter.
fine. By cute animals.
By my daughter.
By the way, yeah.
Baby daughter. Yeah, by the way,
Exactly.
if you buy the mind mapping thing on Vanishing,
Yeah.
all the money goes to Kiwi. So just if anybody is listening and they're like, how do I give Kiwi money? Buy the mind mapping lecture because it goes straight to her new prescription dog food. She gets itchy sometimes, so we're trying a different food.
That's the whole thing with her is like she's itching and runny eyes and she's looking at me in typical dog eyes and like I'm a doodle, I'm high maintenance, and
I'm
figure
high
out what's going on
maintenance.
with me.
I know.
Right.
Really, we both made a huge
And I'm like,
mistake buying a designer dog.
yours performs though.
Mine
Does not.
Yeah, okay, that's true. You know what? She did a great job at Mystify. She really did. She,
Mine
like,
just looks
around
very expensive and foo-foo shishi and yeah. Anyways. Yeah, we're both like, anyways, back to what we're here for. Very cool. I think mind mapping is amazing. I've done mind mapping for some time. Actually, in my own journals. I do it for my routines. And I actually literally, this is stupid. I actually do like an actual linking rings situation with them where I'm like, oh, this can go here, and this can go here, and this can go here, and now they're all linked together, and I applaud myself.
You do? You clap for yourself, like when a plan lands? You know what? It's just a tool. It's a tool to help generate ideas.
Yeah.
It's not profound. I didn't invent it, but they were like, can you do like a mini talk? And I was like, yeah, here's something I can share. And I think people enjoyed it. If you didn't, sorry.
What's your process for, you were talking about like finding routines or creating a set? Do you follow the rule of 3 where it's, open, middle, close?
Yeah, loosely, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But often what'll happen is, and I can tell you about, my speakeasy set sort of is like for my new opener, which is a drink production. That started as, well, I need a stronger, punchier, more visual opener. It started with that necessity. And then I was like, I love a liquid production. I think it looks very cool. And then I thought about doing Barry Richardson's thing where it comes through your jacket sleeve when you stand up. And and then I think it was Alex Boyce who was like, I've seen that play okay. And then Mark was like, what about Leonard Green's beer glass production? Which is originally a Ross Bertram effect, but Leonard's handling is slightly different. And that I sort of adapted from there, What kind of glass can I use? What kind of drink am I producing? What's the premise? And it sort of developed from there and is, always still developing. Sometimes it comes from need. Sometimes it comes from inspired by something.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure when you're performing in such an intimate setting? Not
Totally.
just as a performer in general.
Yeah. I think you want to give them your best, and you want to amaze them and entertain them, and
Yeah.
they are giving you their time and money.
Yeah.
So I think, you
You
know,
gotta, yeah.
giving them what you've got is important. And speakeasy, something that's, you're following some of the best magicians in the country. So
Yeah.
you gotta hold your
100%.
own, which is awesome. I love that pressure.
Yeah.
That pressure is awesome. Because when
Yeah.
I'm going to a table that just saw Prakash, you know, my sleight of hand skill is not going to be what he just did, but what
Right.
else can I bring?
Right. 100%. What does it feel like to kind of be part of an industry where it's not just like regular people talking about it, like there's famous writers and directors and celebrities, and like
Who
they're
are into
all
that.
into magic, dragged to see magic, came with a group of friends to see magic, and they're like, "Hey, I'm a director. I don't really like magic, but that was amazing. That was
It's
incredible."
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we get a lot of cool people at Speakeasy, and I know at the castle there's always lots of, celebrities and stuff, and I'm sure at the lounge too, and some of the other venues. It's very, it's cool. I don't really get nervous in front of celebrities. I'm more nervous in front of like other magicians.
Really?
Oh my god, are you kidding me? When I did my first convention, it was Magi Fest. That wasn't my very first convention, but it was in person, and there were like a
Yeah.
lot of people. I was maybe the most nervous I've ever been.
Wow.
Shaking. I think I had a shot of bourbon before just to like equalize. Like I really was like I was so nervous. Like cuz
That's so
celebrities are just
funny.
rich people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I want the respect of my peers.
Yeah,
I
that's
care
interesting.
about that, and I also care about, because I at a convention, I'm often the only woman on the lineup. There's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
If you're a guy on the lineup and you're pretty mediocre, you will be just forgotten about. Everyone remembers when the woman was bad.
Right. Interesting. I didn't think about it like that. That's different. What do you think is the biggest misconception about being a magician and a woman in magic?
The biggest misconception about being a magician, that's interesting. I mean, I think people think that maybe I think maybe, sorry, this is like not eloquent. I'm just sort of thinking
No.
about this now. I think people think that it's not a big deal to become a
Mhm.
magician. I think they think you just learn tricks and do them, maybe.
Mm.
And the reality is there's so many layers to it as far as audience interaction and persona and psychology. And it's
Right.
not just about the magic. And I think maybe people don't realize that, how many layers there are to it. So maybe that's a misconception. And then about being a woman, I mean, amongst magicians, I think people assume that you're gonna be a certain way, be,
Right.
a sexy little lady, a nice
Yeah.
lady,
It's so interesting. Yeah.
I think when I'm a little bit of a bitch, it's a surprise,
Yeah.
it's
Whoops.
right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know that my character is mean, but it's not mean. I don't comment on people how they look, or,
Right.
it's not about that. It's more mean at the patriarchy and society in general.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a reaction to my experience. That character is a reaction. Sorry, that kind of went off tangent from your question.
No, that's fine. What advice would you give a young woman or girls that are interested in doing magic, or just in general? It's a two-parter. So that, and just magicians in general that want to get into.
I mean, the biggest thing that I think is important is to never, and this is for everybody, is like ask for help from people who are smarter than you. I think a lot of times in magic, magicians very quickly think very highly of themselves. They go, "Oh, well, I've performed at this place, so I must be amazing." And it's like, "Yeah, you're fine, but there's always room for improvement." And I think
Yeah.
people forget that, and I don't think any routine is ever done being worked on, and I think asking for feedback and thinking about how things can always be made better, even with small tweaks,
Right.
is something to keep in mind because I think there's a lot of ego that comes with magic because you are powerful, right? You are doing you are conjuring, you are doing magic, you are
Yeah.
doing something that your audience doesn't know how you did. And there is ego that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think coming back down to earth and just wanting to learn more and always be improving is sort of the goal. Also, I I give this advice because it's something that I didn't do because magic was always a side thing for me is like getting really good at the rudiments and really drilling sort of what seem like basic things early on
Mm-hmm.
because then when you open up a magic book you already know the moves and you can do that trick. you know
Interesting.
there are certain things that like I didn't really get good at until later and that I'm things that I a lot of things that I'm still working on.
Yeah.
And I choose magic that fits within my skills and but I think learning that stuff early on is really important.
What's exciting you right now with magic? Like, is there anything you're obsessed with? You know, I read a book and that was really exciting.
I'm excited to read Ben Seidman's book. I'm very
Absolutely.
excited for that because I heard him talk about it on a podcast and it sounds like the entire book is about one routine but is deep, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about all the opportunities within magic. I mean, I can't believe how much I'm excited about this resurgence. I'm excited about this sort of like renaissance. I mean, there's like constantly new shows opening and new
Mm-hmm.
venues opening. And I just think that's very cool. And also, I'm working on a one woman show.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I'm working with a theater and a director, and I'm so excited to be exploring the world of theater in magic
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
you look at Del Gaudio, you look at, and it's a very different world.
Yeah.
And I just saw Vinnie DePonto's show, and that was really incredible and very much a theater show that was
Mm-hmm.
also a magic show, and there are so many intricacies there that I'm learning about.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just, it's very fun to be in uncharted territory.
Yeah. Storytelling on a stage and being the host of the whole thing, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
doing
bringing
more,
people along.
totally, and like doing a lot more like writing and
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel very excited about that.
That's very cool.
To dive into that world.
And then wrapping up the last couple questions I have for you. What's something about being a magician that no one ever asked you, but they wish they did, or you did? They did. Yeah.
That's such a good question. I wish people would ask less how you got into magic because I think that's so boring.
Well, there's the podcast. No,
Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. But
I'm just kidding.
no, but
I'm just kidding.
I think I really enjoy, and it doesn't happen a lot. But right when people ask like, what are your favorite parts about being a magician? What are your like?
Mm,
I like when people ask those sort of more specific questions and it happens very rarely, but I think those are sort of interesting questions. And
yeah. Yeah. I think you definitely explained or shared with us some of your favorite parts, and definitely the parts that are a little more tumultuous and rocky and everything. But what is your favorite part about being a magician?
I love when people feel like they're escaping their normal lives.
Mm,
Like, and you've given them that, which is
mm,
so cool. Like, when people say, I was having a really tough time and this totally like cheered me up. This totally took me out of it. Like, when you're bringing them into this world and you're making them laugh and you're, fooling them and you're giving them wonder, bringing them out of reality and into this space feels like that is a huge privilege, is sort of giving them a moment of not thinking about work, not thinking about
mm-hmm.
issues at home, not thinking about emails or social media or anything about,
It's powerful.
really like, and I think movies do that. I think,
Mm-hmm.
you know, watching a powerful play does that.
Mm-hmm.
Music can do that, but magic, I think because watching magic takes up so much of your brain power
Yeah.
because your brain is trying to understand what it's seeing that it
Mm-hmm.
really removes you from your everyday life. And I think that's really special.
Yeah, I think the thing that really amazes me, besides how the audience reacts and everything, when there's a moment where someone asks, after I tell them, are you a magician, then they ask to see some magic, and usually I'll be like, no, because I don't like the feeling of always being on.
Mm,
That's when I'm at an art show at my son's school. Like, I'm not tonight's entertainment per se, right?
mhm.
So, but
Well, and
sometimes
also it's important to like if you're at someone else's
situation, event,
like
or whatever.
it's their time to shine,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah. Which is also something, another topic for another time, is just how interesting it is how you could be in a room full of very interesting people, and then, oh, and I'm a magician, and then everyone's like, oh, you're a magician, like,
it's totally like an attention
and you're
pull.
like, but they're a Pulitzer winner. I don't understand. They, sorry about that. And if they ask me enough times, I'll be like, okay. And in that moment where we are creating wonder and disillusion and, just this whole suspension of reality, I've gotten one reaction that actually impacted me, where they really just kind of, there was no reaction, and they just started crying because they have so much going on, and they've explained that they have so much going on, and they don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't
It's a
understand.
release. It's like a release for them.
Yeah.
And I also sort of the other thing that I try to do, and this is, is like my character, at least in my opinion, sort of says the thing that I think women wish they could say, like at their job. And I know that feeling because I've worked in corporate and,
Right.
and at Speakeasy, I have bosses,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I love when I'm at a table and I can say, don't wink at me. Like, or
Yeah.
like when men put their hand on my back and I'm just like, you actually don't have to touch me at this juncture. Like, and make it into a joke. But like, we don't get to say that at the
Right.
office when a man puts his hand on the small of your back. Like,
Yeah.
you can't really say anything because then you're the problem. Like,
Right.
so I love that in my character. I think women find that cathartic, or I hope they do,
Yeah, I
when
think
I
it's
sort of,
empowering.
yeah, and I've heard that from some, women, and that means truly the world to me when women
Right.
are like, even at the session where I was like the dirtiest I've ever been, which was weird because at conventions you usually can't like swear, like they're pretty
Right.
like tight on that, and they were like, it's London, do what you want. So I was like pretty dirty, but I had this like one young girl and her mom be like, we got so emotional during your act, and I was like, during the pussy joke, and I was like, but I was like, that means the world to me, for
Thank you
them
so
to sort of,
much.
for them to, it's like it's an
Yeah.
empowerment thing, and like that does matter in an art form when it's all men. And so many, when you watch videos, they're hitting on their female, audience members, their female assistants, like they're making gross jokes. Like that affects us. Like that is 1,000 cuts, you know?
That's so crazy. I think it's great. I think what you're doing is moving the needle just a little bit more. I think
I hope so.
what magic in New York City is doing in general for the industry is moving the needle pretty quickly. And it's inspiring. You know, I hate that I don't live up there anymore. I would be around everybody and socializing, but I'll find my way up there eventually.
Please do.
Yeah, I mean,
Come visit.
it's so crazy to yeah, it's crazy to go back to my old stomping grounds and be like, wow, this is crazy.
That's awesome. Wait, will you retell me the question that was asked
Yeah, 100%.
this magician? Because I think I know what I'm gonna say now.
Yeah, so our last guest, so our listeners understand, our last guest, my last guest that I had on was Franco Pascali, and every guest leaves another guest a question, and your question was,
has there ever been an effect or style of effect that surprised you by how effective it was? And why do you think that is?
I am going to say the linking rings, but specifically when Noah Levine performs them. He does it in his show, and he also does it at Speakeasy. And I've never really enjoyed watching the linking rings. I've seen the linking rings on stage a million times. I always found them to be kind of clunky, and I have found them to be a bit somehow deeply unmysterious, you know? And Noah does it beautifully and with a little bit of a wink. And it feels smooth and special. And I watch people absolutely lose their minds at this crazy classic trick that like comes in kids' magic kits sometimes. And I watching him blow people away with a trick that most people are like, whatever.
yeah.
It showed me how much you can bring a trick like that to life and to present day. You know, he's doing it in a way that feels modern and special and not hacky, and that was very cool to watch
Yeah.
and surprised me.
Yeah, I think that's, Noah and I'm working on stuff, and he was very kind enough to be like, hey, if you need some insider thoughts or whatever, send it my way. And I was working on the linking rings, and he had sent me all the references and his thoughts, and and I came to the conclusion that the linking rings is just not something for me. It's not in my repertoire.
Which is totally valid.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point to touch on that. Not every single magic trick or effect is going to be for everybody. And a lot of magicians, I think, misunderstand that.
Yes, I totally think that, but I also think that doesn't make them not worth learning.
Correct.
You know, I've sort of been working on Vernon's Cups and Balls, and, Matt helped me with it. And is it something that'll ever be in my act? Maybe not. Maybe not in that classic way, but there's something to learn from it. You know, there's so much timing in there, there's misdirection in there, there's so much in there, and I think the same goes for the linking rings. You know, I've been working on it. Whether or not it stays, we'll see, but I am enjoying the practice of it. And I think that's important. I also think there's so much phone magic now, there's so much app magic now, and it's all very cool, but I do think it's good to go back to basic.
I think as a conjurer, wizard, magician, it's part of the journey, whether you're going to perform it or not. What you do privately in practice is definitely, I mean, my medicine bag is filled with, doctor bag is filled with stuff that I don't perform, but it always comes with me in case I need to pull it out, and that sort of thing. It's good to have the different tools and different things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on and chatting with me.
Thank you for having me.
Being a part of this podcast, and it was fun.
It was fun to dick around for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
So, like, you know, I've stayed in magic, even though there have been those experiences, you know what I mean? So I think it's important.
Which counts more.
Yeah, right. It's like the reason women don't get into magic isn't that interesting. Magic kits are marketed towards boys. There, we did it. Like it's
Yeah.
I used to sell them in Toys R Us. Boys
Yeah.
are buying them. I
Yeah.
saw it firsthand. It's a pretty easy question to answer.
Yeah.
It's more the question of like staying in magic, leaving magic, the opportunities that are given to us sometimes that we're not ready for,
Right.
which is like,
I also think there's on the horizon, I think where it's going is where there's going to be just not gender neutral per se, but there's going to be kind of like how you go about magic is just not specific to a gender.
yeah, that would be great. I think magic is really behind.
As an industry, absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
You have Kiwi.
I have Kiwi. Kiwi and I are very close. People are like, that's Rachel's mental illness. You just have to let her
Just
be weird about her dog.
Yeah, 100%.
I have no chill about it. I don't care. And you know who else doesn't have chill about it? David Williamson. He's a big pug. I brought Kiwi to his show at 69 Atlantic.
Did they let you bring the dog?
He requested it.
Really?
Adam Rubin texted me and was like, can you bring Kiwi to the show tomorrow? Dave is excited to see her. And I was like,
VIP.
she sat through the whole show.
Really?
Yeah.
My dog wouldn't.
She's chill. She
would try to get everybody's attention. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You know I'm talking about you.
They know when you're talking about that. I know Kiwi's looking at me like, me?
Yeah. So
me?
funny.
Your baby? I'm your baby.
Love dogs. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I love when people are like, what sign is your dog? I'm like, she's pug puppy. She's a dog.
Right.
She's literally a dog.
It's a ridiculous question.
I think it's ridiculous when you ask a person that. So it's even more ridiculous when you ask a dog.
What's your sign? Like that?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. My wife does it all the time. She's like, what's your sign? Like in groups of friends, what's your sign? And I'm like, can we not?
What's your sign?
Unless you're about to pull out tarot cards and start doing 100%. When are you going to do your Netflix special? I need you to have a Netflix special.
I want a Netflix special.
I'm surprised nobody's approached you and said, we want to
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah. I am funny. There is
Do you want to? Do you want to go in that direction of kind of like maybe...
Like just stand up, no magic?
No, like you're doing your one woman show. So it's like...
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
And someone swoops in, Netflix swoops in and is like, this is great for a special. Let's do this.
I think I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Fame is scary because people are so creepy.
Right. That's also true.
Even like low level fame is like very...
Yeah, a lot of influencers are having a problem with it.
Yeah, like that. Like I don't have a lot of Instagram followers, so I don't have to deal with that. But great, cool. You want to say goodbye to Kiwi?
Bye, Kiwi.
Kiwi. She's tired.